Everybody, good evening.
Okay, we are now recording. Thank you so much for that. Who pointed that out, Laura? Uh, really appreciate that. Okay, and I see two comments in the chat. Okay, yeah, we are now recording it. Okay, so now let's see if I can get it all running again. Let's go back to the screen share. Let's take it from the top real quickly. Okay, from the top. So there's a nice overview of the resort, and as I said in the beginning, from the I was there. We were there 4 days, and I still can't tell you how many swimming pools there are, and how many restaurants there are in the resort. The place is huge, and it was one of my first experiences with an all-inclusive, and it really was all-inclusive. I mean, you could put on a lot of weight there in a very short period of time. Anyhow, I'm Len Mooney. Tommy Johnson will be joining us in a little bit. He's running a little late tonight. He'll be here. And that is one of the pool parties we had. As I mentioned earlier, somewhere in that foam is Tommy's wife and daughter. I can promise you that, but I can't tell you where. I couldn't find them once I went over there. There was so much foam going on. Holton Bugs opened day one with these comments. He talked about your circumstances. Many of us have our circumstances, and we like to believe that our circumstances are special. And I don't have time, or I have kids, or whatever I have, whatever my reasons are. And the fact is, those are just excuses, really. The question is, is this the best you can do? The circumstances you have right now, is this the best you can do, or you can make better circumstances for yourself? Is somebody typing? Or a lot of noise coming through. Anyhow, the universe opens up another reservoir when I commit to doing my best. So look at your circumstances, ask yourself, is this the best I can do? And then commit to doing your best. Going diamond is a state of mind. And again, we're running through these first slides quickly because we didn't have the recording turned on. Holton suggested that you get and read The Master Key to Riches. It's a book by Napoleon Hill, by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I've been through the book, so have several other people that are on here, and I can attest to it. It's an incredibly powerful book, and it's well worth your time. I will warn you that it's not a light read. This is a study. It's not a read, but it's a great book, and it'll help you to define your goals and what you want to accomplish, and help you get a path to getting there. Belief. Common thread in all success is belief. You have to believe you can do something. If you don't believe you can do it, it's not going to happen. So raise your belief to get to what you want to accomplish, whatever that is. Doing the work with small belief equals small results.
I did call over. Everything's fine for Prairie Dog. So anyhow, thank you. I'm getting my shoes on. Thanks.
So anyone who's got their mic open, maybe you could go ahead and mute out unless you want to talk to us.
I did call over. Everything's fine for Prairie Dog. So
you're welcome to jump in.
I'm getting my shoes on.
I can't tell who it is. So if you have an open mic, you might want to mute yourself. And feel free to jump in if you have questions, okay? Holton is particularly fond of lady entrepreneurs, lady diamonds. And he pointed out that network marketing provides a level playing field for the ladies, unlike corporations where in the traditional corporate environment, women are paid 20% less than men who are doing the same work. That doesn't happen in the network marketing world. In fact, as I said before, our newest diamond is a lady who has an incredible story, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. Maybe when Tommy's here, we'll touch on it. So Okay, so you ladies out there, go to work, right? You're smiling, Lorette. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Belief. We attract people at our belief level. If you believe you can't, you're going to attract people that can't. That's the energy you're putting out. Holton believes we will have Zens millionaires by next summer, and we will have Bill Genius diamonds by next summer. And both of those verticals are really beginning to do very well. And as we get near the end of the presentations here tonight, we're going to look at a new strategy for how to go diamond that combines IGO and Zens and Bill Genius. If you don't know how to do something, just know that you can. Believe that you can, and it will find a way to work itself out. Now, we're going to pick up that theme a little bit in the next slide, because what does that really mean? There are two ways to change: repetition or spaced repetition, which is essentially affirmations, and emotional impact, heart attack. What do we mean by that? So some people need an emergency to make a change. You can eat quarter pounders with cheese for a lot of years, but one day it'll catch up to you. The whole concept of the slight edge. The right way to change is to believe in yourself and to use spaced repetition, to use affirmations. That was the point. And of course, if you have something that you really believe that you want to accomplish, you can get out of bed on a daily basis. Every morning, go look in the mirror, tell yourself that you are there, um, and believe that it can happen for you. Be a little better tomorrow than today. That's the message. Believe in yourself takes spaced repetition, affirmations, and be a little better tomorrow than today. Every day, get up and look at what you accomplished yesterday. Congratulate yourself, thank yourself, and tomorrow do a little bit better. Does that make sense? I think I skipped a slide. Okay, change. Next, sign up more people. Holton talked about a rule that I had actually never heard of before, 725-58. People retain 7% of what they hear, so I believe that. They retain 25% of what they feel from body language. They retain 58% from tonality. So the message was very simple. Sending messages on Messenger doesn't get you to where you want to go to. Very, very simple. Talking to people gets you where you want to go to. They will retain far more from your tonality than they will from the words that you write in a message. And I know, and I'm guilty. For many of us these days, we've fallen into this habit of sending messages on Messenger. And hey, I got this great video for you. Are you open to taking a look? And there's a far better way to do it. And the better way is, of course, to get them on the phone if you can, or at least using voicemail, voice messaging, so that they can hear the tonality, hear the excitement in your voice. Has Tommy made it on yet? Anybody see him? I don't think so. Dr. Lorette, you've got any comments about that?
No, well, I guess a little bit. Yeah, one of the things that we've heard a lot is that, back in the old days, back in the 80s, the 90s, even the early 2000s, people would say about network marketing that it's a belly-to-belly business.
Yeah.
And we don't, hear that or even think that so much anymore. But yeah, people do need to hear your voice, your excitement. It comes through. Ideally, we want to be person to person, but that's not always possible. So on the phone or via Zoom, where people can hear your excitement and your confidence
Yeah.
As well, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to
I'll text Tommy real quick. was texting him earlier today
Yeah.
too, so I'll
Well, I
just
had,
remind him
yeah,
again. He said he was going to jump on a little late. I know.
yeah. He said he'd be 10 to 15 minutes late. It's only 20 minutes. It's okay. Or yeah,
Oh, okay.
just remind. Or yeah, sure, remind him. Yeah. Okay. Um, mentor. If you're building a team, and there's a couple of really interesting concepts here that I need to learn from too. But be a good mentor to your people. Well, what does that mean? Holton talked about this. I have seen team leaders who think that the team is there to serve them. Team leaders who have a goal. I want to become an emerald, and emerald, I need so many points, and so I go down into the team and I start beating on people, asking them how many points they're going to send me this month. In essence, I'm turning the team into my own personal slave, if you like. It doesn't work that way. The team is not there to serve you. You are there to serve them. And there was a big emphasis on that. And I really personally, I really thought about this. And yeah, I agree. I understand. It's your job to connect with your people, to sign up more people, ask more questions, and follow the philosophy of each one teaches one. If every, never mind, each one teach one. So I think there's a really powerful message sitting in there of how to and I don't like the word manage, not how to manage your team, but how to interact with your team. Because what we don't want to do is fall into the role of managing our team either. We're not managers. Any comments? Anybody? Bueller?
Yeah, in my experience, Lynn, I agree with whoever said this.
Holton.
Uh,
This is
yeah,
coming from Holton.
Holton. Okay. Yes, my experience in network marketing, I have many people at the top who think I have to support them. I even had one lady tell me that I didn't make her $500 an hour, so she couldn't answer my question.
Is
So,
this Judy?
yes,
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story, Judy. Well,
yes.
I'll give you my personal opinion. It's time
Okay.
to make a change.
Yes.
You're in the wrong timeline.
Thank you.
Lorette, what do you think about that?
Well, it's about the servant leader. We're here to serve, you know.
Yes, yes.
And being it from the standpoint of, well, that's what it is. It's, you know, we're servant leaders. We're not. I know I've been in network marketing since 1997, and one of the things that I learned and been told a lot by people who were at the top and had been there for a long time, and the people who had the biggest groups and people just loved them and they were there for them. The idea was that we work for you. You know, the people who are at the, you know, the quote top, that they're there for you. That's the whole servant leadership. We won't do it for you, but we'll do it with you.
Yep.
And that was the whole idea, that you have, you know, like we have Tommy, for example. We have Tommy Johnson, who is a millionaire. You know, he's a diamond. He's been successful in network marketing. He's been successful in life. He's been successful in other ventures. He's willing to work for us and with us. You know, that's wonderful. You know,
Yeah.
what other business is like that? That's what's so different about the entrepreneurship that we have in network marketing.
Oh, guess what? Tommy's on. Hi, Tommy.
Yay! Speak of the angel.
Tommy, you got anything to say to us?
Yeah, I definitely do. But I was really enjoying what Dr. Lorette was saying. So I was just going to let her keep going with that. I think she was saying something positive about me. So I was soaking it all in. I'm teasing, but
All true.
really, I could listen to Dr. Lorette talk for days. You just have such a comforting and friendly voice. You know this though. We've discussed it, and you've got that radio voice, right? Just a soothing and caring voice. It's not only your voice; it's who you are, and that's what makes it so fun for me to listen to.
Thank you.
I'm a big
Well,
fan.
Len has been doing an awesome job here. I'm so grateful, Len, that you put this together for us, and we've already learned so much, and so glad that Tommy can be with us also, those of us who were not in Cancun, and being able to, get secondhand what it was like. I was excited to see about what Holton said about Zent's Millionaires and Bill Genius Diamonds coming. I just thank you for putting this together for us.
Yes, no doubt,
Oh,
Len.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, where are we at? Sorry that I am just chiming in, but keep going, Len, and I'll add some things. What an incredible trip! It was great to get to meet you in person and spend a little time together, and not nearly as much as we had hoped, but we certainly will do so in the future.
Well, there will be plenty of times in the future, Tommy. I'm not going anywhere, and I don't think you are either. But
Nope.
I do want to show you something that you weren't here for.
Okay, I'd love to see it.
Trust me. Your wife and your daughter are in that picture.
Ah, they're hidden in the bubbles.
I can't find them in there, but I know they're there because I saw them get in the pool and I walked over to take a picture of them.
Yeah, I fortunately was able to sneak in some pictures while you could still make them out, so I'll have to post those for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. What a party. There's no party like an HB party, that's for sure.
No. All right, we were talking about being a mentor. Okay, so this is the last slide I have for HB Day 1. The big message from HB was show the plan. And one of the things that he said is show the plan to less people that ask more questions. And there was a little bit of a dialogue that went on about someone who maybe shows the plan 15 or 20 times a day, but they show it by sending messages out rather than talking to people, asking questions. And the other thing that he emphasized, of course, and it's real, we live in a 1-minute world. You know that it has scientifically been proven by measurement that the average human being has an attention span less than a goldfish. So
it's horrible.
It really is incredible. And with people scrolling through their phones and things, you've got to interrupt the scroll. And you can't do it with Messenger for the most part. And I think that was the big message. We live in a 1-minute world. So you got to say less to more people. Okay.
If I could add something to that, Len, I have a lot
Please.
of energy on that subject. Anybody who knows me very long knows that I like to talk. So.
No, kidding.
Yeah, what you gathered that? I don't know.
Not you, Tommy.
Yeah, I do get going, and I've always been that way. When our daughter was born, she didn't look so much like me when she was little, and our son looked just like me. I told my wife jokingly, of course, I said, I know he's mine. But then she started to get her talking voice, and it didn't take long to realize that Sierra is definitely my daughter. Anyhow, she's amazing, but that's always been an area that I've had to work hard at, and I certainly have not arrived. Listening is something that I've always kind of struggled, showing people that I'm listening. And though, look, I'm walking around like multitasking right now. Sitting still is challenging for me. So, anyhow, my mentor used to say that in recruiting, the number 2 skill is listening. Interesting to me that nobody would ever ask over the years when he would share that at meetings, what the number 1 skill was. But the number 1 skill, as he saw it, is for recruiting was asking questions. So I believe it was Jim Rohn said, you ask enough of the right questions to enough of the right people, you'll get the right answers. And he or she who asks the right questions controls the conversation. So if anybody has done a call with me, it's chances are before we got on the call, I asked a series of questions about a candidate, the candidate that we're going to communicate with. It's more important that we know our candidate than we know our compensation plan, our product, our founder, this company story, or anything else. So I will typically ask somebody a series of questions about, I said, tell me about your candidate, Len. And you'll tell me about them, then I'll ask a series of questions. This is the asking questions and listening portion for me, because I'm determining who I'm going to set them up with, who's going to be the right fit. And I'm going to teach you, invite, a plan for inviting that person. And it's not a one size fits all. And then when we do a call with somebody, the first 5 or 10 minutes, some people on here may have been on calls that I've done with their candidates where we didn't even talk about the business. We talked mostly about whatever common ground that we found when I talked with you, Len, before you introduced me to the candidate, before we talked to them.
Right.
And so then we find that common ground and you drop their guard. That is by far, that advice from Holton was so good. So not only do we want to listen when we're communicating with our candidates, but I'm going to ask Len a series of questions. I'm going to let him tell me about his candidate because I don't know his candidate. He does. And so he will tell me exactly how to recruit his candidate in this conversation. So that's asking questions and listening, but not only to your candidate, but to the person who's going to introduce you to their candidate. It's critical. Anyways, coaching moment.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Completely agreed. And we all have this strong tendency, at least I certainly do. I have the strong tendency, I'll ask a good question, but then I have to really work at making sure that I listen to the answer rather than sitting there thinking about what my next question is going to be and completely missing the answer. And that's a skill.
I'm going to give you guys a special gift. Let's see here. Now that we're talking about listening for success, I'm going to send you guys something that was years ago. Somebody gave it to me, somebody on my team. 3 CDs that he gave me. He took me to lunch and he gave them to me. I wonder what message he was trying to send. There was no name on them or anything. And it's called, we titled it, Listening for Success. It's all about listening. The author's name is Steve Shapiro. It's an audio that he did. And Steve Shapiro, unfortunately, had, he was a manic depression, and he ended up killing himself, actually. He committed suicide. But when I listened to them, I thought, this is brilliant. And my mentor, he was the worst listener on the planet. He made me seem like a phenomenal listener. Admittingly, he admitted. So I considered sending him these CDs anonymously, but I did send them, from me. And he just ran off into the world with them. He loved them. And he ended up contacting Sound Concepts. Sound Concepts is a Utah-based company that is a fulfillment center. They're a fulfillment company. Like back in the day when we had tangible tools to build the business, Sound Concepts partnered with, all of the network marketing companies, and they would make CDs and so forth. And that's where we recorded our CDs and so forth. And they would fulfill them when distributors wanted them. And Sound Concepts tracked down Steve Shapiro's parents, and that's how they found out that he had passed away. But they just heard the author. He mentioned his name once throughout the audios, and that's how they tracked him down, and ended up getting permission from his parents to duplicate and sell that CD. And 100% of the proceeds went to charity. Bob Schmidt, my mentor, nobody knew this, but all of his tool sales went to Be a Hero, which was his favorite charity, which was children with cancer, because Bob had pancreatic cancer. He had 2 stem cell transplants, and he actually beat it. But anyways,
Wow.
He had a lot of energy, so he had 6 figures, in tool sales every year that went 100% to the charity. So anyways, Steve Shapiro, Listening for Success. I have it in my Dropbox. I'm going to send you guys a link to it. I just recently sent it to Judy and Tara, and they are going bonkers over it. But I forgot about it until recently, clearly. And since we're talking about listening, it made me think you guys need to hear this. It's so, so good. I'm just looking for my phone so I can send it to you.
The
That's
name,
great. Thank you,
the
Tommy.
name is, I know the name Steve Shapiro.
Yeah.
And I knew a person named Steve Shapiro. I wonder if it's the same one. This goes back a long time.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I found my
Yeah.
phone.
Okay. Anyhow, I see a couple other people on here. That Tara, good evening. Nice to see you. Who else?
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, Tara?
Sam, good evening. Is there anybody we haven't said good evening to? I don't mean to leave anybody out. Well, why don't I pick up and keep going while you're looking for that, Tommy? We have a long ways to go, and I don't want to keep people out of bed too late tonight.
Cruz, let's get going.
Okay, so where am I at? I need to share the screen. We've finished with Holton Bugs Day 1, and now the next thing that happened, and we're still moving through day 1, the next thing that happened is that there was a diamond panel, and actually Tommy was the first person to talk on the panel, so we'll open this up and have Tommy answer the question. But the diamond panel consisted of Johnny Wimbrey, Tommy Johnson, Sam Bean, Jayla Pippins, Michael Jacks, Talita Camaro, and I believe there's one other lady on here. Tommy, you may know her name. I should know her name, but I don't. She was sitting next to Talita.
That is Luis Ventura's wife. I can't remember her name right now. Yeah.
And I can't pull up her name either. I don't feel so bad. Anyhow, the opening question, Johnny was running, Johnny Wimbrey was running the panel. The opening question was, starting over today, what would you do? And Tommy was the first person to address that. So, Tommy, you want to see if what I said here on the slide is actually what you said there on the panel? I hope I got it right.
Yeah, I'm glad you posted that because I wouldn't have remembered. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, that is what I said. I would be more coachable, and that's what I would change if I went back 18 years ago when my first company as well. My first year in network marketing, I ran between mad and frustrated because I just couldn't wrap my mind around somebody complaining about their job, complaining about their hours, complaining about their financial situation, complaining about their health, and complaining about their boss. And then you would show them something that they'd say, I'm not interested. You say, you don't even know what you're not interested in. They'd say, I'm not interested anyway. I really struggled with just human nature, human behavior, and understanding it and accepting it. And I tried to build the business myself. So I was very uncoachable for my first year. And after 1 year, I set up a coaching call with my mentor. And he had told me a year earlier that my half of the equation, if I wanted this to succeed, would be to be coachable and to treat this like a real business. He said he would take care of the rest and he would take responsibility for my outcome, provided I did those two things. And I thought that was an irresponsible commitment on his part, but I didn't understand, he knew what he had a hold of. He knew he had confidence in his ability. He'd been doing it for 33 years and helped a lot of people have success. So I set up a coaching call because I felt like I was outworking people and they were outproducing me. And on that call, he said, yeah, you'll be lucky to be making $2,000 a month in another year, because I was making $1,000 a month after a year. And I said, what? He said, yeah, you're not coachable. He said, I've just found that when people are uncoachable, they're going to crash and burn. And I really felt that, I got hit between the eyes with a 2x4 because I felt that I was the most coachable person on the planet. And that would have saved me a year. Who knows how much bigger our check would have been. A year later, we were making $25,000 a month. We made that one adjustment. We got more coachable. A year later, we were making $50,000 a month. 16 months later, we doubled that. What if I had that whole other year of building with being coachable? Who knows what the difference would have been? Same thing happened here. I believe that I came into this culture and to a new company. And actually, Edwin and I locked horns a little bit. He hung up on me. We just had a little bit of a difference. And I was at Vision 2019, and Holton Buggs said, if there's ever a time to be the most coachable that you've ever been in your life, it's now. And I remember when he said that, I thought I was being coachable and so forth, but I was trying to do it the way I understood it. And then I started thinking about it. Edwin made more money than I've ever made in the industry, significantly more. Holton made a lot more than any of us have ever made. Why wouldn't I do it exactly how they teach? And so it's really easy to think you're coachable. And what that usually means, or what it meant for me anyways, was that I thought that because I was doing the things that were in my comfort zone, I wasn't hearing 60% or 50% of the coaching. I was only hearing what I wanted to hear, and my subconscious blocked out the rest. So it's difficult to think about the things every step of the process and think about you, how each of those steps relate to you. It's easy to always do the things that are in your comfort zone and stay coachable in that area. And if you really were to assess you and your coachability, I think that all of us would agree that we have a long ways to go. So, if I were to go back here, I decided to get coachable in September of 2019. That month, I went diamond. And that was the only difference that I really made. I started calling my upline. I started setting up coaching sessions, and my belief grew. My belief in the ability to go diamond that month completely changed. I needed a coaching call to even think that I could put in the 200,000. I had 4 days left in the month, and I was 40,000 shy. And Edwin said, no, Tommy, you don't finish with 200,000. You need to finish with 250 and a day early. I thought, what? Or maybe there was 6 days in the month left, something like that. And he just changed my level of belief. I ended up finishing with 248,000 in volume 2 days before the month ended. That month. So we had a huge jump. I was only in Emerald in August. September 1st, they gave the shields away. I saw the shield, and the shield got me. I don't know what. It just drives me crazy when somebody has something that I don't have. And the shield I thought was really cool. And Holton said, be more coachable than you've ever been in your life. Made that one adjustment, treated it more like a real business in the month of September than I had all of the previous months combined. And had the biggest growth month that we've had. Now, your business will never outgrow your belief. It will never outgrow you as a person. And so it's critical that's why you stay plugged in. That's why you go to the events and so forth, because right now I'm a diamond up here. I'm not going to go blue diamond until I am a blue diamond, and I'm getting close. So that's important. You won't go sapphire until you are a sapphire in terms of who you have become and your personal growth. The business will never outgrow you. That's what I would change. And
Hey, Tommy, Tim had a question. He said, how do you treat this like a business?
I have no clue, Tim. Just kidding. I love doing that to people. Okay, and then let me answer that one quick thing first, Dr. Lorette. Len, let me say this. Then Johnny came back to me and he said, no, what would you have somebody else do? What would you have them do if they just started? If you could give them the best advice. And I said, I would have them be coachable and treat this like a real business. And it's the same. It's the same. When I'm talking to you guys and doing coaching, I'm really talking to me, and the things that I know that I need to. I don't do everything perfectly. If I did, I'd have 51 personally sponsored diamonds. But if you do a little bit more right than most people more often, you'll break ranks. So the question is, how do you treat it like a real business? Who asked that?
Is that TJ?
Hey, what's up, buddy? You don't have to unmute. You're good. I see you. You can, though.
Is that TJ that asked that?
Yes. Tim,
cool. Good question.
So that's
I'm gonna just stop to share while we're having this
oh,
conversation.
yeah, no problem. That's a loaded question, Tim. Okay, so here's the secret. I've listened to a lot of people, and I've never seen anybody build it really big without treating it like a real business. So I'm going to give you what Martha Ermias did. And I don't know if anybody else picked up on this when she was doing her Saturday training one day, but I certainly picked up on it. And I've never seen what she did. I've never seen anybody do it before. So you know who's treating this more like a real business than anybody probably I've ever seen treat their business? You want to follow somebody that's treating iBoomerang like a real business right now? They're at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock means your personal timing is just as good as it could get. So it's David Hunt. Go watch what David Hunt's doing. Follow Diamond David Hunt. And this man is treating his business like a real business. He's treating it like he invested $1 million into it. So that's what my mentor told me to do 18 years ago. He said, treat it like you invested $1 million into it. And quite frankly, I don't know what that even looks like. But I do know that if I had risk, that I would dot the I's, cross the T's. I would work it even when I wasn't in the mood to work it. I wouldn't get discouraged. I would stay focused. I would never, ever focus on why it wouldn't work. I couldn't afford to. I have to make a payment this month, toward my $1 million loan. And the crazy thing is I have a friend, her name's Kim. She owns 3 Burger Kings. She spent $1 million. She's risked her life savings, all of her credit, her credibility, her influence, everything she's ever worked for to get by these franchises. She hates it. She bought herself a job. She refers to her employees as headaches. She's limited to a geographic area. It's just hours of operation. Sometimes when one of her employees calls in, she has to go work the shift. It's crazy. Anyways, she got into iBoomerang early on, but she never treated it like a real business. Why? She didn't have the $1 million loan. But let me tell you, I made more money last year than she did. She's had the Burger Kings for years. I made more money in iBoomerang than she did with 3 Burger Kings. That she has to manage the headaches, and she has a loan payment, but she treats them like a real business because she has the risk. A lack of risk prevents a lot of people from treating it like a real business. Johnny Wimbrey, when he was interviewed by Tigray, he said, and I could find these. Tigray asked him like one of his final questions. He said, Johnny, you are very talented, because he is very talented. And he said, what would you contribute your success to? Now, Johnny Wimbrey walked away from $2 million a year. That's his biggest year, was last year. He made $2 million, and he resigned because he knows he'll never be able to exceed that. He wants to do $2 million a month. And he started from scratch. Now, Johnny, he thought about it for a moment. He said, when I first got into the business, a mentor said, you need to treat this like you invested $250,000 into it. And he said, for some reason, I was able to really process that. He goes, that one really stuck with me. And he goes, I just found a way to do it every day. I thought about that every single day. He said, if I had to contribute my success to one thing, that's what it would be. Holton says, treat it like a job. If people can relate with that, right? So Martha Ermias, when she was doing her Saturday training one day, she said, and I don't even know if she realizes what she did. She's too new to the industry to even probably pick up on this. I doubt it was planned, but it worked out just perfectly. She said that she goes, when I got into the business, because she went blue diamond in 7 months. She's the record holder in the company. And outside.
Tommy, you just muted yourself.
With the exception of, thank you, with the exception of people who came, who knew Holton was going to build a company and spent 2 or 3 months, building it on paper before March 11th. I was not one of those people, but neither was Martha. And Martha said, I added up all of the bills that I have that keep a roof over my child's head and mine and put food on the table, the most important bills. And she said, I just found a way from the month 1 to tie those bills to the business. Like, I'm not going to have food to feed my child if I don't make enough money this month on the binary to pay those bills. And she goes, I did have the money elsewhere to pay them, but I just programmed my brain to believe that I had to make it in the business. And I've never heard anybody do that before. I think it's brilliant because she treated it like a real business. She found a way to trick herself into treating it like a real business. How do you do it,
I
Tim?
remember that. I remember that Saturday. I remember her saying that.
How do you do it? You tie your why to it. So there's a reason that the why is so important. It's first, but you can't just say, well, my why is this. Have you given it to your sponsor? Do you have a confidant in your upline somewhere that you feel comfortable giving it to as well? And because your why is the only leverage that we have. I can't fire you if you don't make this call. If I was your employer, I could. It's a volunteer army. But I could say, Tim, you shared with me in confidence that you would do just about anything, short of robbing a bank, to bring your wife home. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just making this up, okay? And to never have to be told where to be, when to be there, so you could be there to watch your grandkids take their first steps. That's what you shared with me. And you were very descriptive. I know that we have the vehicle that I can help you do that. We can do that. I believe in you. But you're going to have to do those 5 calls every day. You can't just work it when you get in the mood. I'm going to do my part to grow your business. There's things where I'm going to do for your business. You're going to do things for your business as well. And there's things that we're going to do together. But I'm just telling you, you either need to change your why and your goals or change your activity. And it's that simple. That's the only leverage I have. If I told you, hey, Tim, you didn't make Len's call last night. I mean, your boss does that. Nobody wants to be reminded of something that they didn't do. But I could go back to your why if I have it. And you want it to be very, put some time into it. If you had $1 million loan, you would do it. And then put it places where you can read it twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. Really read it. Don't just say I'm going to. These are little changes that you have to make that are habit changes that after 30 days or so become normal. But at some point you have to draw the line in the sand because it all falls in the category of treating it like a real business, and whatever it takes to read those twice a day, whatever it takes to make events, whatever it takes, and there's a window of time when you have to really kind of throw balance out the window. I know that nobody wants to hear that. It just depends on what you want to accomplish with it. If you want it to be life-changing, at some point, I've never met anybody that did it with perfect balance. So you're going to have to make sacrifices. All of us do. It depends on what you want to do. Most people will confuse activity and productivity. They'll play iBoomerang. I like to be with my family. If I'm going to be building the business, I'm going to make sure it's productive. Luis Ventura told me in Miami. He said that they were talking about, you could listen to it. I think it's on the men's, well, they're taken down now, but they'll put them back up in the vault eventually. He said that he just made a pact with his wife that if he's in the office, he's productive. He said, if I'm going to be away from you and away from the family, I'm going to make sure that I'm not playing iBoomerang. He didn't say that, but you get the point. And so what does productive time look like in each of your businesses right now? Inviting and setting appointments for us to present to your candidates. That's simple. Everything else is busy work. I know that's a long answer to your question, but that's a big, big, big question. So your why, at the end of the day, that's how I did it. I just made sure every night when I put my head down that I felt good in my heart, that the time I was able to allocate to building my home-based business, that it was productive. And there's 2 productive skill sets: recruiting and getting people started, which is recruiting in depth. So that's the hard part. That's where the work is. Recruiting is the easy part. If you embrace it, if you accept that it really is. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
You bet.
TJ, did that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard and studied a lot of that the last few
Yeah.
years. It's just that being a employee forever, I need that somebody to tell me now and then to do something.
So-
Because I gotta have that boss up my butt sometimes.
But you hate it when they really are, right? So I get that though, by the way. When I first started in the business, I'll share a quick story with you guys. When I first started, I would find myself waking up in the morning. Do you know that Judds? Do anybody listen to the Judds? Do you like country music? The Judds, they have that song, Come Next Monday, come next Monday, I'm going to bed early. I'm gonna do all these things next Monday. Not right now, but next Monday. And I would find myself getting up in the morning, in the time that I had to allocate to the business. I was selling real estate, but we only did it a few days a week. And the other days, I would wake up, I'd end up on the couch watching a TV show, which I never did before. And because the phone was 100 pounds, I just couldn't seem to pick it up. And I would watch a 30-minute program that would have a commercial at the end of it that would sell me on the next 30-minute program. And then I would find it dinner time. After this show, after this show, after this show. And then it would be dinner time. Then I would think, okay, I'm going to start calling people. Then I would think, they're probably eating dinner right now. And I don't want to bug them at dinner time. And you know what? It's 2 hours later there. They're probably asleep, putting the kids to bed. I'll call them tomorrow. And then Monday would go by, and then Tuesday would go by, then Wednesday, then it would be the weekend. And I think, well, it's a weekend. I'm not going to bother them on the weekend. They don't want to hear about something. On Monday, I'll start. And so what I had to do was I started thinking about something. My mom had been a traditional business owner for many years. First, she was with corporate America, US West. She was there almost 20 years. Her boss was threatened by her and fired her. I mean, she literally 20 years, she poured into a company and just like that was jobless. Said she'd never go to work for somebody again, started an event planning company. So she put on events. And she was the first to turn the lights on, the last to turn the lights off, and the last to get paid every single month. And we lived, I remember when they first started, they had the machines at the grocery stores where they could determine if the check would clear before you left with the groceries. And we'd have to leave the basket there. I would be I hated it for my mom. She'd be embarrassed. And it was month to month. She raised my sister and I, and one month she'd, make some money. The next month she wouldn't make any money. And it went on for many years. But anyways, she still got up every morning without a boss, showered in her own house, and went to work. And I just thought about that one day. I thought, how does she do that? She's a self-starter. She made the adjustment because she had no other option. Like Martha, she had to pay her bills each month. So I used to go over to her house 2 days a week because once I'm there, what else am I going to do? And then I started to pick up on, the consistency, and I started to get in the rhythm. And so sometimes you need to do that with your upline, but get with your upline, and find creative ways to push you through that. But you know what? You have to find something, Tim, that you're not willing to give up on. I was willing to give up on network marketing 18 years ago. I would have given up on the company easily. I would have given up on myself in terms of my ability to build the business. But I was not willing to give up on the idea of keeping Lindsay home and being present at every one of my children's events as they grew. And I wouldn't give up on that. So you really want to find an anchor, because that's when the going gets tough. I look at that and I just think, I'm not going to have any regrets. And quitting is a self-imposed prison to me. I just don't understand quitting because other people have already done it. And then failing is another thing. And that's a very strong possibility for any of us is failure. But not if you're coachable and not if you're consistent. It might take, listen, I suck at math. You may be a genius at math, and we could take the same college course and I can get an A too. I may have to work 10 times harder at it than you. I may have to put 10 times more time into it than you do, but I can still get an A. And that's the attitude that I have about the business. But what kept me going and what makes me not have to have somebody breathing down my is my why. It's always motivated me. And so, but with all of that said, Tim, I still might have quit. I'm not a quitter, and I almost quit 10 times or so in the first year. That's where we come in. Thank goodness I chose to believe my mentor. It was dumb luck hitting a great line of sponsorship. I didn't choose it because I knew the value that they brought to me and the team. I was new. And I would call him all the time. And if you really work in this business, you should be talking to your sponsor daily or someone in your upline, not whining, complaining, excuse making. You'll never get your upline, if that's what all of the calls are. But you'll get them for the first 2 or 3 times, and you'll never, you can blame us for you not succeeding if you want. That's what most people will do. But this falls under coachability. And excuse makers, whiners, complainers, they get dial tone. You just can't afford to do it because it brings me down. There's people I love that I cannot afford to hang around. And so everyone gets a piece of the upline's heart, but only so many people get the calendar. And so I just decided at the beginning that I was going to be somebody that my upline was easy to get a hold of for. My mentor said, I'm easy to get a hold of for the right people. He said, I'll dive over the couch for the right people, whatever it takes. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I certainly do now. And that's something you can change. That's a decision. And the attitude you can control. And this is really important, and I'll stop talking because I'm going down. I'll run this one off in the world. I have so much energy on some of these subjects. And my passion is condensing the learning curve for people because it's too costly to make your own mistakes. And you have to control the controllable. This is so important. I have to remind myself of this every single day. It's so easy to point fingers, to not take responsibility. I've learned to eat crow, so much of it that I've developed a taste for it. And that was a process. It was not natural for me. And when I would call my upline and they would give me an answer that I didn't want to hear, like, you're doing the right thing, keep doing more of it. That's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted a silver bullet. And I remember thinking all the time, one day I just had this epiphany. I think it was an epiphany. I didn't know what that word is exactly. But anyways, I just thought, what? Why would he be telling me something other than the best that he knows? He doesn't make a dime if he doesn't help me make $1. It's not like my job. And so that helped me stomach sometimes having to go do the same thing over and over and over and over. And eventually everything he said would happen happened. I have no reason to give you the wrong thing. I'm giving you the best I know because it's a business built on helping people. When Dr. Lorette says, I've been in this industry since 1997, that got my attention. I know people that have been doing things for 30 or 40 years that they don't do it any better today than they did 30 or 40 years ago. So just because somebody's been doing something for a long period of time doesn't mean they're great at it. But Dr. Lorette is. And you can hear the confidence in her voice. And you can hear her sincere interest in people. That gets my attention. Why? Because I am not good at showing that to people. I want people in my group that have strengths that I don't have. And that's what I want you to think about, Tim. Okay, I need somebody chewing down my neck to get me going sometimes. Quit saying that, first of all. Yep, you're right, you do. And the more you say it, the more you'll require it. We don't have time to motivate people. It's hard enough for me to motivate myself. You find motivated people. Here is the best piece of advice I can give you guys. Well, no, I can give you all good one. This is important though. You don't build builders, you find them. You don't build builders, you find them. Probably the most applicable chapter in any book I've ever read to our industry is a chapter called Don't Send Your Ducks to Eagle School in Leadership Gold by John C. Maxwell. Don't send your ducks to Eagle School. You can give a little Eagle badge, Eagle diploma, Eagle jacket, Eagle hat. They're still ducks. I had no patience for ducks. I thought they were just lazy. They really wanted more, but they're lazy. Until I read that chapter and I thought, ducks are great. Don't try to turn a duck into an eagle. They're perfect the way they are. They travel long distances together. They get what they want from the business. I would go to a meeting that I hosted every Monday night for 11 years. And I would sit with people, they'd want to come talk to me and before the meeting, and they were in the business since I got in, like a month later. And I'd say, how's it going? How's it going, Kevin? Great. How's the business? How's the business doing? Great. I would think, did he forget that he's in my group and I can see through the genealogy? I can see, I know his business is not great. It was for him. It was just perfect. And if you embrace that, you're going to be light years ahead of most people and light years ahead of me at the beginning. And so my attitude would be this. You got to make the changes and you have to take baby steps. Get a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. There's a formula for how you can make the changes. But all of it is mindset. I think Len's first slide, Holton started the whole thing off talking about mindset. Edwin talked about mindset. It's not the daily activities. I mean, you can't make it big without hard work. You have to work hard at it, no doubt about it, for a given period of time. The return is time freedom. So the more work you put in, the more coachable you are, the greater the potential return, right? And here it's not finances that you're investing, it's your time, but the return is time freedom. And none of it means anything if you don't have your mindset right. So my first thing would be, stop telling yourself that. You've probably done it for so long. And also it's an excuse. It really is. If you really think about it, it's you justifying not making those changes. And so I've been through all of it. So I know I'm not bashing you for it. I'm just trying to help you the best I can. You know how you do it, Tim? You have your why. You get books like Atomic Habits. Don't spend all your time, getting ready to get ready. You start right now, like right now, and allow accountability, but don't count on it. And communicate with your sponsor every day, but make sure that you're somebody that he wants to take the phone call. Do you bring him up or do you bring him down? Is everything what goes wrong or what you can't do or what you're not willing to do? I've been through all of this. I know I was that person. It's a process. And when you make it, then you'll see other leaders on the stage and it doesn't matter. You'll have so much respect for them because you know that they paid that price at some point. It's not easy. It's the most I have ever asked of myself was building this business originally 18 years ago. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. By far the most gratifying. I mean, because it's who you become in the process. You won't say things like that anymore. You don't need it. You're independent. You motivate you. And you don't need somebody chewing you out to get you to engage. Think about that. You'll hear your friends talk like that. And you'll think, man, did I used to think like that? Did I used to say those things? Everything they say will sound like that. And the reality is you never heard it before when you used to hang out with them. That's personal growth. Because you grew, they didn't. And it's one of the best feelings on the planet. It makes you a better friend, a better builder, a better parent, a better spouse, a better everything. It makes the world a better place. All right, that's it on that. If you need day-to-day, 5 calls. Do exactly what Holton says. Listen to Holton. And then apply it. Just do what Holton says. Sorry, Len, go ahead.
It's okay. We ready to move on? Laura, you had a couple comments in the chat. Did you want to talk about any of that, or are we going to move on?
No, we can move on because I jotted down the Atomic Habits book. I'm ordering it right now.
I have a couple of others that I brought here for you guys to show you guys. Sorry, home-based business.
What's that?
For those of you who are, maybe your significant other doesn't support the business, there's all those relationships all over the place. I always felt like, this is my son here, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Hi, how you doing?
That's
Great. How about yourself, buddy?
Doing amazing.
What's the other option exactly, right? And so he just got back from basketball practice. So anyways, anybody in your team, everybody should get this. You can go to daretodream.net. And I think if you just put in your email address, you can get an e-copy of it for free. Win as a team while you dare to dream. It is amazing. Great insights. It's a 20-minute read. And Dr. Tom Barrett, he's a psychiatrist, and he's a builder in network marketing, and he's just an entrepreneur through and through. I got to know him very well. This book has sold over 1 million copies. It's brilliant. You guys will gain some tips to give advice to your people in your downline when you do run into that, okay? It's perfect. It's so good. Everybody should read that. Holton talked a lot about the personalities, which I think is brilliant. The book that I know of for that is called Personality Plus. By the way, I'm mostly yellow and red, only 2 green, 0 blue. Personality Plus by Florence, I don't know how to spell her pronounce her last name, Littauer. Personality Plus. You could probably get it on Audible. And to make sure you get this, Building a Millionaire Mindset by Johnny Wimbrey. Johnny Wimbrey is one of the best I've ever heard. His strengths are so strong. He's got a gift. There's no doubt about it. He has a gift. He thinks differently, and he's willing to share with everybody. So you can learn so much from all of the other leaders, even if they're not in your upline. I've always done that. Johnny Wimbrey has a lot to offer everybody. But there's nothing he can do that you can't do. Nothing. It's not the best speaker that makes the most money in network marketing. It's the hardest worker on the basics. Whoever stays focused on the basics. Does the unseen hours. Those are the people who make the most money. Johnny Wimbrey happens to be a presenter who was personally mentored by Les Brown, and it's one of Les's greatest prodigies. He couldn't make a living doing that. So he found a way to use his passion in our business, and he's made millions from it. It's just a business. It's just a business model. And it's one that can make you very filthy rich if you want to. It's one that can make enough to just keep your house if you want to just do that as well. But it's not one you can do by yourself. None of us can. Tim, you have a direct line. Anytime. Everybody does. 602-518-6044. If you don't get me, just keep following up. Ask Dr. Lorette. She knows. Okay. How do you make that change? Laura, didn't we go over that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Tell me what?
You said, how do you make that change? Are you talking about treating it like a real business?
No, that I do. It's the mindset that I still need.
Okay. Let me give you a quick advice on that. Read. Don't miss events. I understand you have, a lot of us, COVID changed everything, but I'm not, we can never change the past anyways. And I am very familiar with
Right. But yeah, you know what's going on.
Right, don't worry
Most
about
of the team does, so that's all right.
But I'm just talking about moving forward.
Yeah.
And success leaves clues. When I got into the business, my mentor said this. He goes, not everybody that goes to events gets rich, but everybody who gets rich goes to events. And I remember thinking, gosh, I'm just going to go. And I have so many of them that I didn't want to until I got there. And they kept me in the business. When you're down, you need the events. When you're up, the event needs you. And it's just really interesting. It's a really interesting culture that people do what you do. And that's just the way it is. Your team will do what you do. And you will see the fruits, Tim, you will see the fruits of your changes in 90 days. Everything's 90 days behind in network marketing. It's really interesting. Consistent, bam, it just pops 90 days later. So, but it's easy to look at each individual event and get discouraged. Discouragement is a luxury that you cannot afford if you want to build. I struggled with that for a long time. Johnny Wooden, the great UCLA basketball coach, said this. He said, I've mastered life when I learned to treat defeat and victory the same. He said, my goal for my athletes is that if a stranger comes into the locker room after a game, they don't know if they came into the winners or the losers locker room. Because you can cheat and win. You can win and lose, and you can lose and win.
How it was at the time.
Samuel.
Some in Japan and America talk about their experiences for the first time.
I can't mute.
And as far as possible, we will try to recreate that Sunday morning 50 years ago. A morning that changed the world.
You can mute him. You can mute him, Glenn. Okay, you got him. Okay, so thanks. Appreciate it. You can win and lose in life, but you can also lose and win. And if you really embrace that, if you cheat and win and you hurt somebody in the process, did you really win? You can lose on the scoreboard, but if you gave your best and you learned from it, it's a victory. Chalk it up in the victory column. What mistake we make is we start focusing on the losses, not the victories. And then your subconscious expects to lose. That's a process. All of the impressions that come into our brain on a daily basis are negative. Everything's set up for what goes wrong, not what goes right. And so you have to be proactive, chopping the negative. When you hear it, you have to chop it off. You have to make those changes. And what are you pouring into people? I can't be up all the time for the people and they're all bringing me negative stuff. I'm going to go down. And so you have to be very selective of who you listen to. My cousin, he's so negative. My cousin Toby, I love him, but man, he'll call, hey man, he'll leave me a voicemail and I'll listen to it for about 30 seconds to make sure he's okay. And then I don't listen to the rest. I can't afford to. He's Eeyore. And so I'm very selective. He calls, man, I need to be very free to take his call. Or I'll set the expectation right out of the chute. Toby, I have 5 minutes. And just the way it is. You're not going to change people. And that's why I say you don't build builders, you find them. I have total confidence in the consistency of human nature. Liars lie, cheaters cheat, quitters quit, whiners whine, excuse makers excuse make. And people say, what does the average person do in the business? Well, what does the average marriage do? What does the average student get in school? Do you want your children to be average? What does the average New Year's resolution look like? You have to stop telling yourself you're average, all of us. So, the last thing in the world I want to be is average. So when people come at it from that angle, but you have to never think, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I expect Dr. Lorette to do well with it. What do we, yeah, it's a good question. I never thought about that. What are we going to do? I mean, you join that, you're toast. So it starts, Laura, by being aware and then reading the last 20 minutes, hour ultimately, but start off with 20 minutes before you go to bed. In the first 20 minutes, or first hour in the morning, they call it like the golden hour. Supposedly, it affects your subconscious more than any other time during the day. Watch what happens if you start going in YouTube and typing in Jim Rohn, Anthony Robbins, Les Brown, in the mornings, and just pour good in, Holton Bugs, and turn off the news. That's where I would start. And then reading books, plugging into everything, just staying plugged in and calling your upline a lot and choosing to believe them instead of your old mindset. That's a process, but it will change. I promise, if you commit to it, if you decide, if you catch yourself. Johnny's book, From the Hood to Doing Good. In that book, he talks about one negative thing. You have to out loud say seven affirmations, 7 positive things, and it'll wipe that out. And those things sound hokey pokey. I can't get my wife to buy into it, by the way. When I was young, I was an athlete. I grew up racing motocross. I gave my whole life to it for 9 years. I thought for sure I was the next Ricky Johnson. Ricky Johnson was my childhood hero. He was the winningest supercross rider in the world. And I never drank pot. I never drank soda all through school because I read an article by Bob Hanna, a Hurricane, a motocross racer, said the carbonation makes your legs weak. I never did drugs. I never even tasted alcohol until I was 22. Why? Sports. I went to a sports psychologist. I wanted to win so bad. And he taught me self-hypnosis. And I learned over time that I could not physically train and I could get better by mentally training. I had to pay for it. My mom paid for it. And, but my determination, my desire to win, I was able to go through that process and I learned how powerful the mind is. If I didn't have that experience, I don't know if I would have ever bought into it either. You listen to every successful person, Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan. Watch The Last Dance. And you tell me Michael Jordan didn't figure this out. Holton Buggs, Nathan Ricks, name somebody successful. And every one of them, the very first, if they were to train on one thing, they're going to train about mindset. Everyone, why did Holton kick it off talking about mindset? Because nothing else matters. That is everything. And so pour into it, Laura. But if you have negative all around you, you have to chop it off. And then you have to proactively put positive in. And eventually you'll get your subconscious up where I call it the magic 51. You get to 51% of the time you expect to win, you start winning. I don't like no's. People say, I'm more successful than you because I get more no's than you. I don't like no's because it programs my subconscious. And so I need to expect to win 51% of the time. Then my tonality changes, my belief changes, everything. But you have to turn off the news. That's a big one. Don't scroll through social media. Do you see Edwin on social media? Scrolling around, liking everything. How about Holton? You'll never see it because they know that the negative stuff that they scroll past, because most people are negative, they can't afford it. They can't afford to do it. They just continue to pour positive things to the universe instead of scrolling, and I recommend that. Anyways, Len, back to you, man. I know you didn't even we haven't even got through your pages. I'm going to zip it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we still have a long ways to go if we're going to cover everything that we covered there in the 2-3 days, or maybe we do a second session. I don't know. Depends on what people want. So
let the people vote.
So let me jump back to the PowerPoint, but it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff, Tommy. So hey, we're learning something. So let's just sort of bounce through this part really quick. So Sam Bean, but once again, this was the diamond panel, or yeah, it was the diamond panel, and Tommy was there, of course. Sam Bean, he talked about the importance of using social these days because of obviously because of COVID. There's no big surprise there. If you have anything to add, Tommy, we'll just jump through this really quick. JLo asked the same question, and the question is, what would you do different, or what would you do if you were starting over? And she made the observation that what we are doing right now is about to become normal. And the point, the message that was sitting in there is that we're working from home. A year ago, you say work from home, and a lot of people didn't think work from home was possible. Now it's becoming the new normal. So we working from home is again, it's a new normal. So I mean, when we approach people, talking to them about working from home is becoming easier and easier and easier. They're beginning to understand that that's important. Michael Jex, understanding what we have, really understanding the system, and et cetera. This is something, I mean, you alluded to this a lot, Tommy. I'm not going to sit here and belabor it. Building confidence. And Johnny came in. You already said a few of the things. Sort of an interesting idea of creating a new normal by creating a new weird. What's the new weird? The new weird is that people have to work at home because their employers have sent them home, and that is becoming the new normal. Jayla, get them to be part of the environment. Tommy, Zoom. What do they mean by that? Both of them are talking about the same thing. Zoom, while a year ago, a lot of people may not have wanted to do Zoom, and as Tommy mentioned, there was a day and time when network marketing was considered nothing but belly to belly. Today, Zoom can replace that in a way. It can humanize the business by bringing people into your home. Just like Tommy's son walked by, the dog is there. You're actually bringing people into your home, and it's duplicable. So Zoom is a very, very powerful, and it really is the new normal. It's the new tool that we're going to be using as we move forward. Johnny, it's not about what you like. No one feels like it. This is really, there's an extremely important message sitting in here. It's one that's sitting in here for me too, and I've been learning it the last couple of years. And Johnny talked about hating to get gas in the car. He hates to have to stop the car and go to the gas station, get out of the car, and and go through all that. But what's the consequence of not getting gas in the car? So the reality is that sometimes we have to do things we don't like to do just because that's what's required. Michael Jacks talked at length about how much, huh?
It's Jex, J-E-X.
Yeah, Jex. Michael talked at length about how he hates Zoom, but he uses it.
By the way, this is Michael Jex today. Can you guys see this? That is him giving a presentation in an AMC movie theater today.
Mm-hmm.
He rented it out. That's Michael Jex. That's getting creative. That's treating it like a business.
And just to wind this diamond panel up, Sam Bean, people need leaders. That's probably something you've got a lot to say about, Tommy. People really are looking for leadership. And you already mentioned Johnny's new book, Becoming a Millionaire or Building a Millionaire Mindset. I already ordered a copy for me. And by the way, Tommy, I owe you that money back. Yeah, but make sure I've got your make sure I've got your your email or whatever for we'll get it back.
Len had a bunch of Mexican pesos. I happen to have American US dollars, and Johnny was only taking US dollars, so I just gave him a few bucks. That's what he's talking about.
So Edwin Haynes, going diamond is mostly metal, and we'll bounce through this pretty quick because you actually covered a lot of this stuff in.
It's all metal. It's all metal.
It's not about the money, and he emphasized building for structure, not building for money. Edwin, and I'll just bounce through this really quick because Edwin went through the 2020 plan, and there's been extensive training on the 2020 plan. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it here, but the point of the 2020 plan is, the big point of it is that it has the structure. You start off with 20 left, 20 right. It builds the structure to have a stable organization, proven plan, and you can get massive duplication with it. So I don't know if you want to talk about the 2020 plan at all, Tommy, or just sort of brush through this because it's all back there in the back office. But he did go through the 2020 plan in detail. He pointed out that your distribution base plus customers with the PRIB gives you financial freedom. And what does he mean by that? Again, he was emphasizing the idea of building a wide organization, not building 2 or 3 lines, but 20. What are the numbers? 10 on the right or 20 on the right, 20 on the left? Yeah, 20 right, 20 left. So you have a very wide, stable organization. So you actually end up with 40 legs. So again, he went through the 2020 plan. First 60 days, sponsor 12, 6 left, 6 right. If you do it in the first 60 days, you're probably going to be a sapphire. And remember that in order to rank advance, we not only have to have volume, we have to have volume in a period of time. So if you do it in the first 60 days, probably hit sapphire, 2K to 5K a month. Understand that out of every 12 you sponsor, 3 to 4 will quit, 3 to 4 will incubate, which means they're sitting there doing nothing, waiting to think about what they're going to do, but they haven't quit. And 3 to 4 will build it big for you. So 2020 plan, 12 in the first 6. And by the way, for those of us, I'll put myself in this, who have been here for a while, you say, well, my 60 days are gone, I didn't get it done. Start over. Today's day 1, right?
Yeah, that's really good advice, Len, because you can never look back.
Yeah.
And what I always try to do when things don't go the way I want them to go is think next time. These are the first words I put in my head. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time, what can I do differently? Next time, how can I get better? Next time, how can I prevent that from happening? And never beat yourself up over what you didn't do.
Right.
Wherever you're at, start there. If you don't have anybody, you've been in for a year, that's what we're starting with. It's just fine the way it is.
So anyhow, first 60 days, 12, 6 left, 6 right. Next 60 days, 12 more, 6 left, 6 right. If you do that, you'll be Ruby to Emerald, 4 to 15K a month. Again, don't chase the money, chase the structure. And finally, the third 60 days, do it again, sponsor 16 more, and your diamond or higher, 15 to 20K a month. And again, out of every 20 sponsored, expect 6 to 8 will quit, 6 to 8 will incubate, 6 to 8 will build. So that's the 2020 plan in a nutshell. And I thought I saw, did I see a question come up or a comment?
Just Laura, say starting fresh. Yes, Tara, that's it. Laura said she's going to have to go to bed soon, but that's it.
Then Edwin talked about unification, Lou, loyalty, unity, edification. And again, I'm just going to bounce through these really, really, really quick. Sorry. Loyalty, a strong feeling of support or allegiance. What loyalty do you have? And I don't know, we could talk philosophically here because I think that there's a real question. We've had some people leave the organization recently, and of course, we know that every time we bring in 12 people, 3 or 4 of them are going to quit. Whereas we each of us have to decide where our loyalty is. And I can tell you from me personally, from this event and other things that have happened recently, I'm 120% committed. There is no question in my mind. Nobody can, if people make a decision in your own mind whether you're going to stay with this organization or not. If you're going to stay, just block out all distractions, because I get requests almost every day of the week. Somebody's hammering on me to take a look at some new opportunity somewhere that's going to set the world on fire, and we're all going to be rich in 6 months, and it's all BS. And there's so much of this crap that's coming through from Bitcoin and Forex, and just
I don't play with that. You can hurt people.
It never ends. Unity, the state of being united. And edification, designed to improve you in some way or improve whoever you're talking about. And again, we won't spend very much time. We won't spend any time on this. We'll just keep going. Cesar Muniz, big challenges.
Let me just add one comment on Lou really quick, Len, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Every company talks about, every ambassador, every leader, and every executive and every founder talks about the equivalent of Lou. But that's where it ends. I'm convinced that in the previous 18 years, all of the people that I've met with that have told me how they have a relationship with the field, how they've cracked that code, and how it's an open door policy, they were all talking about iBoomerang in the future. I've been taught to believe that Holton is too transparent. Why? Because none of the companies are, except iBoomerang. You want to talk about integrity and honesty. That's why iBoomerang. That is why I Boomerang. And I haven't been able to poke a hole in it. Do things go as fast as we all would like them to?
No.
When we have a problem, do we feel like ours should be top of the priority list? And that it should be so simple, just fix our problem. Yeah, everybody feels that way. I've been through all of that before. And everybody quit. Every little glitch the company had, I'd lose 50% of my team. Because they found a way to quit and not take responsibility. And it's just part of it. And it's easy for me because because I understand human nature, because I understand the 2020, because I understand timing. It wasn't easy the first time. But the same people that started the company that I was edifying, that were speaking on stage, are not the people that were there when I made my millions. This is part of it. Birds got them. You just have to know that's part of it. It's just going to happen. But
the birds got them. I love that whole Jim Rohn story.
Yeah.
What happened? The birds got them.
Dr. Lorette, when you called me, did I seem down? Did I come across discouraged when you called me about Mike? No. Len, did I seem discouraged?
No, not at all.
He's Mike. I mean, I sponsored Mike. If anybody's affected by Mike deciding to move on, it should be me.
Yep.
And if I would have seemed discouraged, would you be as committed? Would you have gone to Cancun?
Yes.
Would you have been as optimistic? Maybe not. Because if I'm saying, yeah. And the message is this: if your downline calls you with something, a concern, you can never, ever, ever pour gasoline on it. Put a fork in that leg, it's done if you do it. One time, the whole leg will go away. We're in another book.
It certainly is your commitment.
Yes.
That is really, this is the first time that I've really felt like we're putting a team together, and we have an upline, we have the support, and
we have one less person.
This is
we have
going to
two
go.
less people. We have 2 less people than we did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we feel more of a family now.
Yeah.
We all just moved up one.
Yeah. And
Sponsor quits. My attitude is, man, they didn't have a lot of faith in me. And if one quits, I'll sponsor two. That's an attitude that anybody can take on. A choice. Okay, that's it on Lou. But Lou is real and it is amazing. That's it.
okay. Cesar Muniz, big challenges prepare you for big results. This second one is really powerful. Do your best the first opportunity you have. Don't wait for the second chance. And, you know, we could go off on philosophy of life right here for a very long time. And I'm going to avoid doing that. But how many of us have passed up an opportunity? We have an incredible opportunity here. Just take it. Don't wait for the next one to come. There may never be another one. I mean,
that's true.
And what you really need is inspiration. Inspiration comes from within. It's not motivation. Motivation comes from without. It's what you were talking about a little while ago, Tommy. I mean, a boss can motivate you by kicking you in the butt, telling you go, 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 or you're going to get fired. But the reality is, in order to build this business, we need inspiration. It's got to come from inside of us. We have to find that why, the thing that you're going to grab onto, the thing that you're not going to let go of. What, right, Tommy?
Jim Rohn says that if people were smart, they'd work twice as hard for themselves as they do for somebody else. And if they're really smart, they'll work twice as hard on themselves as they do for themselves.
Yeah.
That's exactly, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I've heard hell defined as lying in your deathbed, looking back on what you could have done or should have done with your life. And when I heard that definition of hell when I was younger, it really scared me. It sounds like hell. I don't want to do that.
And you've already said this a number of times tonight. The secret to becoming a diamond is to work hard.
There's no way around it.
Period.
I've never met somebody that made it big in this industry that wasn't a hard worker for a given period of time. You just cannot do it without it. Have all the ingredients and leave that one out. You make 500 a month, 1,000 a month, few thousand, just depends. But you'll never build it huge.
And Cesar talked about hobby versus professional. We've all heard it. Treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. Do it when you have time. That's what a hobby does. Professional. Do whatever you have to do to make the time to do it. To be a professional, you got to recruit, you got to duplicate, and you got to retain. Period.
You don't need to put 40 hours a week into this. 5 hours a week example, if those 5 hours are productive and consistent. If you notice everybody says the same things, really pay attention. If everybody's saying the same few things, and it's just
Yep. No, it's a common theme. So here's a really interesting. Trey Harris introduced Sam and Kim Bean, and they introduced the customer recognition clubs earlier in the day. I don't know what day this one is on right now, by the way. We might be in the day two, but time flies when you're having fun. I can't remember what day it was, but we had done 1,000 to 5,000 and all that, or 100 to 500, all that the first day. This is really fascinating. 22 people were in the 2,000 to 5,000 club, one in the 7,000 club, one Shirley Xavier at 11,000, Darlene at 12,000, Chelsea at 12,000, and Renee at 14,000. Does everybody understand what you're looking at? Renee Young has 14,000 qualified customers. I mean, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Okay, then there was Diamond.
Those numbers will be tiny in a few years,
Oh yeah, but I mean, just think about Renee having 14,000 customers who each one is bringing in $1 or $2 a month. I mean, okay, then there was Diamond recognition. There's Tommy and Lindsay over on the left. Now, who's the lady next to you, next to Lindsay there, Tommy?
That is Ellen. She's
From was it Bahama or Bermuda? Or
Bermuda.
One of the islands. She has an incredible story, and there is that woman brought me to tears standing in the audience listening to her. I mean, I literally had tears in my eyes. what an incredible story she has, and such a powerful inspiration, because she came from the islands. They had nothing. She had no upline, no support. They didn't have any money. They couldn't sign anybody up with a credit card. There was all kinds of stuff that went on. And she also came from a poor background, no training, no business experience. She's never been in network marketing. I mean, you couldn't find another human being who had more obstacles and more reasons to quit. And yet she became a diamond in less than 18 months.
Yeah. Nobody likes the richest story.
You know? So anyhow, just an incredible story. So let's keep going. Holton Bugs, day 2. Talked about travel. Many places have already sold out for 2021, according to Holton. He talked about the Prib. Many components are already turned on. Some are still coming. We all want to see more things in the Prib. We want to do it more than it's doing. But he just simply said, look, when it's ready, we're going to turn it on. And I mean, my confidence in Holton has gone up leaps and bounds in the last months. And he's just going to do what he says he's going to do. But I also think that he also recognizes that we need some time to stabilize what we've got. Vibe is an enormous undertaking.
Yes, it is. An expensive one.
Yeah. So anyhow, he talked about needing a plan. A plan without a plan is a goal without a plan is a wish. What's your strategy? Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. And these are things that you've talked about already tonight, Tommy. I'm going to just skip right through these things because there's something really important that I want to get to and slow down a bit. But how's money earned in a free enterprise system? By value exchange. In a free enterprise system, there's no guarantee. Because like your friend who owns the 3 McDonald's, they weren't McDonald's, they were whatever they were, 3 of them. You made more money than she did. I mean, you can go spend $1 million, buy a McDonald's and never make a penny. There's no guarantees. But what there is value exchange, and there's no floor, there's no ceiling. So we have to learn to present value, learn to show and exchange present value. Our customers, your customers, they're going to pay you for value. And so understanding the value proposition, doing the minimum required, expecting the maximum out is, well, that's job mentality. And I'm not quite sure why that's sitting there and how to earn money in a free enterprise system, but it sort of seems out of context, but it's an important message because that's what a lot of people expect. Okay. I'm not going to go through. We're going to stop in just a minute at this stuff because.
Yeah, we can come back and do the Go Diamond plan, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's really what I want to get to.
Okay.
Be a chameleon. Understand what's important to your customer. Tommy already mentioned this. Colors, personality types, red, blue, yellow, green. Yeah, great. There it is. I mean, you take a Johnny Wimbrey or a Holton Bugs. I mean, I don't think there's anybody redder than Johnny Wimbrey or Holton Bugs. You're not going to talk to them, but,
Holton's pretty blue as well.
The conversation, yeah, that's a good point. The conversation you have with those guys is going to be different than the conversation you're going to have with the blue guy. Holton spent quite a bit of time on this, and it was really a lot of fun. And I'm just going to bounce through them. There's been a lot of training on colors, and I'm not going to try to go through all the different colors. Make your list. The bigger your list, the better your odds. If you have one person on your list and you talk to them, and they say no, you're all done. If you've got 100 people, one says no, you still have a 99% chance of success. Now, we're going to develop a plan to go diamond using all the components of the system. Last year, all we had was IGO. It's a transactional-based system, and you don't have any control over it. You can sign somebody up as a customer, put them in IGO, but you can't make them travel. If they don't travel, you don't earn anything. So you got to wait for it. Now you have volume-based businesses. We have Zents, we have Build Genius. Now remember, Holton's is predicting that we will have Build Genius millionaires and Zents, Build Genius diamonds and Zents millionaires by next summer. We have people that are making a lot of money with this stuff. And so he's put together a new plan for how to go diamond using a mixture of all of the stuff that we have available to us. And so in order to get to that plan, I'm going to actually use the corporate presentation, even though there's a couple things about this that I don't particularly like. And I'm sure there's going to be far more training about this stuff. So we've been here already an hour and 45 minutes. Probably another 15, 20 minutes, we can wrap this thing up. I'm not going to make you an expert in this, but step one, become a star achiever. What is a star achiever? We'll talk about that in just a moment. So there's 4 steps in this process. Become a star achiever, become a super star achiever, commit to 12 months of personal production, and then duplicate the process with 5 people. And we'll explain each one of these steps and what it really means. Step 1, what is a star? And Tommy, jump in here anytime if you want to add. What is a star achiever? A star achiever is someone who's earning 300 personal qualifying volume points in a month. Sorry, 300. Tuck that number away, 300. How do you get 300? Well, there's lots of different ways. It's a combination of your personal purchases, your subscription, and customer purchases and savings. So, personal purchases. You take a vibe ride, you buy some Zents, you travel, you have Build Genius, you've got your bills at home, etc. So adding all those up can add up to 300 personal qualifying volume in a month. So your subscription, which you're paying every month naturally, is 100 PQV, 100 personal qualifying volume, $100. Add to your subscription some customer savings from iGo or purchases from Zents or Vibe Rides, etc. So, for example, Build Genius. If you have a customer who's saving $100 or you're saving $100 a month on Build Genius, that amounts to 12.5 PQV, personal qualifying volume. So 16 Build Genius customers, each one saving $100 a month, gives you 200 personal qualifying volume for that month. Now you have your subscription, add those numbers up, 300 in PQV. So the idea here is to have 300 personal qualifying volume per month made up of a combination of all the things that are available. So another way to do it would be to have 8 Zents customers. Zents is $25. 8 times 25 is 200, plus your subscription, 300 PQV. By the way, these slides are available in iBoom Hub right now. You can go get them. Okay. Oops. What happened? I'm not sure what happened. I think that we're still okay. Okay. So if I have 10 Build Genius customers, is that right? Yeah, 10 Build Genius, 12.5 PQV per Build Genius, so 125 PQV for 10 of them. and somebody buys 3 boxes of Zents, or I buy 3 boxes of Zents plus my subscription. Again, there's 300 PQV. So he's showing multiple ways of building up $300 in a month of personal qualifying volume. That's what you have to do to be a star customer. Step 2, become a superstar. What is a superstar? Does anybody have any questions about star? Let's make sure that's understood.
I don't know. What do you mean by star?
Become a star achiever. That's
Star Achiever is just, it's a title. It's something that Holton is introducing. It just rolled out at the event. And by the way, everybody can still, for $50, they can go, you can buy the event and watch it for the next 2 weeks as many times as you can. It would be a good investment if you have not done that. But yes, becoming a Star Achiever is, okay, let me just give you a real quick story on that to help you understand it. When Holton was at Organo, he implemented a recognition strategy built around volume. He had 4,000 people in his organization, in his first so many levels, that were ordering $2,000 a month worth of product. 4,000. And some people would sell it. Some people would use it in samples to build their business. Some people they consume some of it. But whatever they did with the product, he had 4,000 people doing that. When he would bring other big builders in to take a look at it, he'd just show them that, the average volume per distributor. And one of the ways that he was able to do that, now it's totally different here because you can get volume from saving money on something that you have to spend money on with our company. This is totally different. And he'll continue to bring different verticals that give us that opportunity. In Amway, they said, buy toilet paper. You're already buying it at grocery stores. Just buy it from your own store, but pay 200% more. That's how they would try to increase the volume per ambassador. And we're all paid off of volume. But he shows us different ways, even with the 4 verticals that we have, to increase your volume. And so why would somebody want to be a Star Achiever? Why would you want to have 300 in volume in a given month instead of you only need 100? Because you become 3 times more valuable to your upline. And so you have to think in terms of building a team. Well, I don't want to ask people to spend $300 worth of toilet paper just so they can be a Star Achiever. They don't have to. That's what's so unique. When you start to dig into this a little bit further, you'll realize how special what Holton's doing is. But why would you want to have 300 instead of 200 and 100? For the recognition. And if you get 300 and you keep doing it, in so many months you go through the ranks and you get recognized for it. People that became a Star Achiever in Organo for 12 months got a watch. They crossed the stage, got some special watch. And if you don't hit those 300 one month, you fall back and you reset, you start over. He had people that hadn't gone below 300 in 12 years. There's tons of people in the company still today that just won't go back because they don't want to start over. It's amazing what people will do for recognition. And Holton's just really cracked the code. But those people had to buy $300 worth of coffee. We can save money on things we're already spending money on and have that go towards our volume. It's just really, really, really Holton. And you'll see over time how it all starts to fall into place and what it means to you and your business. And you think, well, I don't have a team. I only have customers anyways. What's your expectation? And if any of us are going to bring one thing to the table, it's our own expectation. That's the most valuable thing that we can each bring.
So who asked the question? Was that you Carolee, or?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was the first slide, the Go Diamond Plan overview. Become a Star Achiever, first step. So again, what is a Star Achiever? A Star Achiever is somebody who has got $300 per month in personal qualifying volume.
When you look at that last slide, go back real quick, Glenn. Yes, this is a strategy to go diamond in 12 months. Is it 12 or 18? I can't remember. Anyways, these 4 steps will land you at diamond if you duplicate these out. So go ahead. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so we got our Star Achiever. Now what we've done here is go through several different variants of how to get 300 points a month personal qualifying volume. You can do it, your subscription counts for 100 points. You can have 16 Bill Genius customers. You can have some 8 Zens customers, or you can have a combination. And again, what Tommy just said a minute ago, one strategy is with Zens, for example, is to use 100, sample 100, sell 100. So using 100, that's for yourself. By the way, who's gotten some Zens now? Has anybody gotten any?
Mine said it was on its way, but that was 10 days ago and it hasn't arrived yet. So.
It's
Yeah, I got mine. I really like it.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, we got some. We got some in Cancun. I really like it. I've got it sitting right here on my table. Anyhow,
Larry, real quick, tell us about your experience with it, if you don't mind.
You know what? It's funny because I think it's helped me sleep better. The relaxed stuff, I've noticed that I get better sleep. But I also one of the things that I like about it was the eucalyptus one. I in Chicago, I'm an Uber driver, and I used it doing that, and it really does keep you focused and stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. I put a eucalyptus in my nose the first day of the conference in Cancun, because that's what they gave us. I really liked it.
No doubt. If in a gal in my group, when she's not using it, because it's air that will make it only last 12 hours. So when you're not using it, put it in a contact lens case.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't get any air to it, and you'll be able to use it again later.
Do you know, I went on Amazon and I've got these really small plastic bags that you can reseal. And I mean, you get 100 of them for like $4.50.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're the smallest bags I could find. I put it in there, and then I like squeeze the air out of it, and you put it in, and it's good to go.
Cool. Okay, so let's travel on. I want to make you guys diamonds here in the next couple of minutes. There's another example of how to get 300 PQV. You guys can figure this out on your own, or you can get the slides and take a look at them. But we're just combining things up. A couple of boxes of this, a couple of boxes of that, a subscription. We've got 300 PQV. How can we make 300 PQV in a month? There's multiple different ways. There's many ways as you can imagine by combining.
We do it with just customers as well, just by getting Bill Genius customers.
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, moving forward, this is certainly a goal, and all you have to do is decide how many Bill Genius customers you're going to have, and how many boxes of Zents you're going to sell, and how you're going to get your 300 PQV. And bear in mind one thing what Tommy said is very important, and that is that you have to keep the 300 PQV consecutively. You got to do it every month. So think about what you're going to do, but we can work that out. Okay. Step 2.
By the way, new skin to qualify every month, it's 2,000. Just so you know, and it's 2,000 or 3,000 to stay qualified in new skin. $2.5 billion company. It's crazy.
Okay. So you become a star achiever by having 300 PQV a month, $300 personal qualifying volume, period. However you do that. Step 2, become a superstar achiever. What in the God's world is a superstar achiever? Well, as you might imagine, it's a star achiever who has 5 star achievers front line under them. So you find 5 other people and teach them how to be a star achiever. And you are now a superstar achiever. And these 5 people, each one is 300 PQV. So this is generating 1,500. And Tommy, is this I guess this is a G for gross QV? I wasn't quite sure what symbol was here.
Which symbol here? Oh.
They suddenly threw in this G. I think it's a G. I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah.
Yeah, it just probably means your group qualifying volume. Yeah, that's what it is. Group qualifying volume.
Okay.
Not just your personal. Your personal is 300, but between all of them, that's your group.
Group. Okay, good. Good, good. All right, so you're now a superstar achiever. Next,
It's that GQV that qualifies you at a different rank. That's what you need to advance.
right. Okay. Then step 3 is commit to 12 months of personal production. Personal production is on the 10x2 plan, which we've all heard about, been trained about before. So we're not going to go into that in great detail today. But with the 10x2 plan, your goal is to bring in 10 new customers and 2 ambassadors every month for 12 months in this system. Okay? Making sense so far? Step 4, teach 5 others to do steps 1, 2, and 3. And here's what it looks like at the end of some period of time. You and your 300 PQV, then you've got your 5 below you to make you a superstar. 25 below them, each one of them having 5, and below them, each one of them having 5. Now, we all know it doesn't ever really work out this way, but I mean, you know, we may have to recruit 15 people to have 5 here. Who knows what the final numbers really turn out to be. But at the end of that structure, it's a pretty simple structure. At the end of that structure, you're a diamond. So, summary: become a star achiever, become a superstar achiever, commit to 12 months of personal production, and duplicate to become a diamond.
That's right. Okay, are you done with that for now, Lynn? Can you just give me 30 seconds of making me a co-host so I can show everybody something on my screen?
Absolutely.
And then I'll be done with anything that I want to share with you guys.
Well, wait. No, here,
go up to the 3 dots by my name. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You are now a co-host, of course.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me show you guys this. Now, oops, let me turn my camera back on. Okay. There it is. Tell me if you can see this. Calculator. Can everybody see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. I just want you to think about that. What Len just laid out. Does anybody think that they could do that in the next 12 months? Is there any reason you cannot do that? And what if it took 2 years? Think about people go to college for 4 years and they spend a ton of money to do it and they're not even guaranteed a job. Not to mention a 6-figure a year job, and certainly not a residual 6-figure. What if it took 2 years to do what Len just laid out? That's just building a team. That has nothing to do with customers. You're not even guaranteed a job after 4 years of college and a ton of debt that you start off with. You're guaranteed a 6-figure residual income if you do that. What if it took 2 years? What if it took 1 year to get halfway there and another year to get the other halfway there? Would it be worth it? Just think about that. It would be pathetic if it took 2 years if you were focused, but let's just say that it did. It'd still be worth it. One of the best things Holton teaches is the flight plan calendar says, plan on being here in 18 months. This is a process, not an event, especially at the timing we are looking at this. Now, add on customers. What Len just showed you is just about building a team. A lot of people won't do that. What about all your customers that are, look, Laura, she has way more customers than I have. I have like 400 something customers. I'm working at it. But I have people on my team that have 12,000. I get overrides on all. That's the only thing that's network marketing about iBoomerang. If you decide to build a team, you can earn overrides on all of your team's customer savings and so forth. Now, we're only talking about 4 verticals. There will be new verticals coming at a very aggressive rate. But like you said, Len, let's get these ones running smoothly. Let's just say you have your customers after a year or two save $30 a month on iGo, just on average. They start using the restaurants. Now, iGo may not be the vertical that earns their trust. Maybe it'll be Bill Genius. And then iGo gets brought to them down the road. Now they trust us. And then Bill Genius, and then iGo comes on the backside. Maybe it won't even be iGo, but we're just going to use the 4 verticals that we have. And let's say these customers take 2 Vibe rides a month, 1 each way, right? This 1 Vibe ride, and they have to get home. And they save $100 a month with Bill Genius, which is very reasonable and very conservative number for me to put here. Bill Genius is the gateway. I have so much energy on Bill Genius. Let me read an email that just came through to me like a couple of hours ago from Bill Genius. I uploaded my Zoom, and I just got this email from Bill Genius. It says, okay, here it is. Dear Tommy, while attempting to negotiate your Zoom bill, account ending 1341, you asked us to negotiate on November 28th, 2020. We found there's not currently an opportunity to get you a better price. This can happen for a variety of reasons. For example, you may be on a special introductory rate, or the supplier may simply not be offering better pricing at this time. However, we have reason to believe, this is amazing. No, I'm not going to read this part to you. It's too good. No, I'm just kidding. We have reason. Oops, I dropped a book. We have reason to believe there will be a new opportunity for savings on or about February 3rd, 2021. Therefore, we've paused working on this bill until then. Note that there's no cost to you at this time for this bill, since we haven't yet been able to achieve savings. That's the beauty of our risk-free service. We've marked our calendar to automatically attempt to negotiate your bill with Zoom again on or about February 3rd, 2021. You don't need to send a new bill, copy, or take any other action for this to happen. We'll get in touch after that date to let you know when we get started again. In the meantime, feel free to send us any other bills you'd like us to take a look at. You can view the status of all your bill negotiations and upload new bills anytime using your online account. And you can click here to go to the account. Is that not great customer service? I mean, Bill Genius is going to continue to work for me. That means they're going to continue to work for my upline. It's brilliant. And Bill Genius is where you're going to see the best consumer experience at this time, because the whole company has been doing this for a minute and they've got it all in place. So I love Bill Genius. It's like they say in the drug world that marijuana is like this gateway to people doing other drugs or whatever. Bill Genius is the gateway. It is the gateway to earning your customers' trust and then to use different verticals as they're brought to them. You don't need to bring them to them, the Prairie Bill. And also, it's the gateway for a customer to become an ambassador. And it's really, 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 really brilliant. Now, think about this. You have a good experience with Zents. You're not guaranteed to buy it next month. In fact, you might not buy it, especially if finances are tight. Prevention, so forth, is always the first to go. You have to sell a product to any other company. You have to sell a product to them, hope that they'll buy it. You have to encourage them to be compliant, to take it long enough to hopefully be one of the small percentage that actually feels a therapeutic benefit. We should all consume things for prevention. That's the real excitement, but it's not nearly as sexy as therapy. We're Americans, right? So anyways, and then you have to hope that they have a personal experience and they're going to cancel. There's no doubt about it. Customers are favors. Bill Genius, they have to pay their bills. You just save them money. People are already good at doing that. And if they don't pay Bill Genius, their bill goes back up. Bill Genius continues to negotiate. They don't have the option to not pay their bill to keep the lights on. They don't have the option. They don't want to pay more. Who would want to do that? And It works almost 100% of the time. I don't know anybody except my mom that's uploaded her bills and didn't see savings. It's really absolutely incredible. The average person who uploads just 3 saves $1,000. We have a gold mine in Build Genius. People might say, oh, it doesn't pay a higher percentage. They don't get it. But now they're in your crib. So in this scenario on this screen, your customers, what if it took 2 years to get your customers to save $30 a month? Take 2 vibe rides a month in the given markets. Let's just be consistent here. Saves $100 a month on Build Genius and buys 2 boxes of Zets. And who knows what else they'll do. But just for kicks, Laura has like 3,000 customers. Let's just say in 2 years, 1,000 of her customers are averaging these numbers. I just want to put this in perspective. This has nothing to do with building a team. That's $16,000 a month of passive residual. You're not guaranteed a job after 4 years of school, and you're certainly not guaranteed one making $16,000 net. That is residual. The upside is too big on this. It's too big to not treat it like a real business. Well, my customers aren't using that much yet. Go sign up for a network marketing company where they just manufacture a product, they store it in a warehouse, and they drop ship it to somebody's doorstep. Go do that for a minute, but I promise you'll be doing something else soon because it runs its course. It's a broken business model, and Amazon has completely killed it. So I really want to put things in perspective for you guys. I'll share that calculator with you guys if you just message me, let me know. And I'm going to post a couple of things in Len's group that I really want you guys to take a look at. I already posted the Listening for Success in there. And now I'm zipping it. Len, thank you so much. Dr. Lorette, great to see you. Everybody, I'm looking forward to getting to know you a lot better. Get my number. Let's run off the end of the world with this thing and build your business.
Anybody else have any questions tonight? Or are we ready to wrap?
This was great. Thank you so much, Len. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy,
Dr. Lorette, you want to see the best prop in network marketing? My mentor taught me this years ago. This is the business right here. I said I was going to zip it. Yeah, I can't help it. So how do you keep a nut on a bolt? How do I keep that on there? How do I guarantee it'll never go anywhere? No guesses?
Okay, how?
Put another nut on behind it.
Oh, put another one. Okay, yeah.
Drive depth. This is driving depth, and you just keep duplicating them. I'm looking for 15 people when I build my business. I'm not looking for 500. I'm looking for 15. 3 builders deep. And I'm prepared to drive a leg 30 levels deep to find it, but you're not going to have to. You do some things we'll teach you guys. But if you find 15 builders, you're 15 builders away because each leg you build 3 builders deep, you're done with it. You don't have to put much time or energy into it. It's going to take a minute, but 3 builders in depth, 3 nuts behind one another. That's a 6-figure leg. What if you build 5 legs like that? That's $500,000 a year minimum. Because you cannot build 3 builders in depth down a leg and that not be a 6-figure producing leg with this compensation plan. I'm not even talking about customer savings.
Wow.
I'm going to get too excited about the company.
Tommy, I like how you put that into the nuts and bolts.
That's right. If you look at it like that, you don't work with people, you work through them. And so I'm infinitely more effective getting down on my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 15th level than I am working on my personally sponsored people. You lock people in. The concept of the industry is built on the concept of equity. That's why warm market is so important, because until you lock people in with real equity, all businesses, relationships, marriages, real estate, it's built on too much to lose to walk away from it. Let me ask you guys this. If Edwin Haynes was in your downline, would you be working your iBoomerang business any differently? What if he came in on your 3rd level? Now, remember track record. You know he's going to build. You would have to go build another leg to get qualified for it, right? You get the balancing and all that. Would you treat it any differently if he came into your business right now? Honestly. Don't look for the right answer. Look, would you? Does somebody give me a yes or no?
No.
Okay, that's the right answer.
I would.
When I was asked 18 years ago that same question, I said yes. And it wasn't Edwin, but you get the idea. And my mentor looked at me and he said, shame on you. He said, you'll never have a big business. He goes, if you work your business day to day, like I'm already in your group, you'll have plenty of people like me in your group one day. The trick is finding out what you need to do that. The number one money earner of our previous company, he said every meeting, everybody he talked to in the business, to him, that was a $50,000 bill. Let me ask you guys this. How many people would you put me on phone calls with between now and the end of the month if I gave you $1,000 for everyone you set up? You'd find a way to get them on the phone. And you can't give them half of the money or any of the money. Could you think you could get more than you have been? What if I gave you $500 for every book you read this month? And so it's not a matter of whether you can or not. And so I earned almost $9 million at our first company. I personally talked to, give or take, 100 people. 43 or 48, I can't even remember the number, somewhere in the 40s chose to come on board with us. How many times does 100 go into 9 million?
900,000? I don't know.
9,000.
Yeah. That's how much every one of those people that I talked to about the business ultimately meant to me. The trick is to understand that. So if I gave you $1,000 per person that you talked to this month, and you took it, I mean, that would be pennies on the dollar. I would never sacrifice tomorrow for the quick money today. Has anybody ever looked at the example that you double a penny a day?
Oh, hell yeah. Sure.
It's amazing. Would you take $1 million or a penny a day doubled for 30 days? Most everybody would say that the $1 million, unless they've ran through the exercise. It's all the way up to I'd have to pull it up, but like the day 27, you still should have taken the $1 million. But by the 30th, it's like $5 million or $4 million.
Yeah.
That's the business. So how do you find a way to treat it like every single meeting is worth $50,000? I would never take $1,000 for everybody that I talk to today, instead of if I find a way to treat it like I am going to get $1,000 and do it anyways. So again, it's not whether you can or not, because anybody would say, yeah, I'll get a bunch, I'll fill up your calendar between now and the end of the month. You give me $1,000 for every appointment I set. It's not about whether you can or not. That proves it. It's just a matter, how do you find a way to treat it like you're going to get the $1,000 when you're not? To look at the big picture. And you need to figure that out. But it's worth it. And Holton says, call 5 people a day. I love what Len started this off with when I came on anyways. He was talking about what Holton said, more high touch. High tech without high touch is high disaster. Dr. Lorette, if you were a single young lady and some guy that you weren't interested in texted you and asked you to go on a date, would it be easy to decline?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's easy to say no if someone's just texting. Yeah.
Would it be easier, more challenging? Might he get a chance to go on at least one date if he asked you in person?
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood would be great.
Yeah, if you see the person. Yeah, it's more likely. Yeah, in person.
Take a sincere interest in people. 5 people a day. Look at your Facebook friends and start in the A's. Look at your phone contacts, start in the A's, but be very careful not to dequalify people. Don't make their minds up for them. It's a huge mistake. My mentor, he had earned over 50 million when he was recruited to the company that I met him in. His sponsor, Sherman, said that Bob was the easiest person he ever recruited. And many other people thought about calling Bob, but they just assumed he wouldn't be interested. Why? Well, Bob, he's already made a bunch of money. There's no way, he's unrecruitable. He knew what to look for. Sherman showed it to him. He thought, wow. And he was the easiest person he ever brought in. So don't assume. Here's the ultimate question. If they chose to do it, would they be great at it? Don't worry about whether you think they'll be interested. You know what will happen? Those people will end up in somebody else's life. I've seen it happen a lot. So you guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking it out. I hope this helped. And Len, thank you so much for setting this up. Dr. Ouellette, it's always good to see your face and hear your voice. Tara.
This was great. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Len. It was wonderful.
There is
Thanks,
a recording.
everybody.
There is a
Almost as good as being
recording.
there.
There is a recording, and I'll get it processed and make it available by sometime tomorrow. All righty.
That's great. Thanks,
right.
everybody. Good
All
night.
right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Tommy, I'm
Thanks,
calling
Tommy.
people I know now.
Okay.
Good. You have emotional equity and expectational equity that comes within a warm market.
And it's going to happen. I've already, we're both doing it. We're going to have a challenge. Him and I. He's
So
called-
competition.
We are. We're going to see who wins.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Hey, send us the terms.
I
You
will.
know what? The number one money earner in the previous company, you know what they did? They thought about the worst thing that they could possibly do. For him, he's a hardcore Republican. He hated the Clinton administration. He wrote a check for $100,000 to the Clinton administration that if they didn't hit their rank by a certain date, it was addressed and stamped and given to somebody that was guaranteed they're going to send it off if he didn't hit the rank. For her, his wife, she wrote a letter to his ex-wife and taking full responsibility and apologizing and all this stuff. I guess they had some past or whatever. And that was the most difficult thing that she could think of to do. She wrote it all out, put it in an envelope, stamped it, and gave it to the same person.
Okay, so
something to motivate you.
the winner has to clean the toilets.
Nah, it's gotta be worse than that.
Oh, well, he never cleans them.
I think that cleaning ladies or a cleaner, house cleaner should be built into the compensation plan at Sapphire.
I think the conversation is degenerating rapidly. Oh, now we're into cleaning toilets. All right, let's call it a night.
Thanks,
Where I come from, it's Miller time.
Oh,
thank
Here's 30. Good night, you guys.
Good night, everybody. Bye for now.